Hey guys, Adam aka CS Radical here, and I am here to review Rocksmith 2014. Now, I was a big Guitar Hero and Rock Band fan when the heyday of music genre games was alive and big. And then once things, settled down and it got completely overdone, now we're just left with games like Rocksmith that really offer a much more tangible and realistic way of teaching you guitar instead of just 5 buttons. Now, Rocksmith, for anybody who's never heard of it before, is basically Guitar Hero, but you have to use a real guitar. The game itself is $60 for just the disc. It's $80 if you don't have the USB cord. It comes with that, which is a 1/4 inch to USB cable. And there are also packages, at least that I've seen out at stores like GameStop, where for $200 it will come with a, your cheap Epiphone electric guitar to go with it. The game itself probably does a better job of teaching guitar than a book ever could, because what it also offers you is a lot of ways and a lot of songs to learn, a lot of lessons, and even stuff like the Guitarcade, which I'll get into later, that really give you a lot of unique ways to learn anything that you could ever want to about guitar, and at least get that first step into being able to become, a somewhat, decent guitarist. Now going into this game, I've already been playing for 13 years myself, so it was going to be interesting coming into a game where it was expecting you to learn how to play rather than just, continue to play on. But what it does offer is a set list, and a very diverse set list at that can offer someone like me who is very... I wouldn't say like I'm not a virtuoso or anything, but it gives you something tangible and something that's exciting to learn, something that you wouldn't be able to normally just either by ear or just by reading tablature. Now, the game itself works kind of the same way, where you will read the song almost like the way Guitar Hero would, but in terms of the string and frets. It is almost, in a sense, kind of like reading tablature, and it takes a second to get used to because... for most people, if you play Guitar Hero, it's very overwhelming to see that now you have, at most I've seen so far, the 21st fret, and I think that's where it will stop because not every guitar has 24. That's probably, that actually makes more sense now that I think about it. But what it does is it just gives you the exact spot instead of you having to kind of fiddle around and figure it out, and it really gets you to learn the song piece by piece exactly as it was played. Now, the setlist itself offers pretty much just a whole different culture of music, where you can go from the Ramones to Iron Maiden to the Police to Joe Satriani, and just goes on and on. Also, the DLC list is ridiculously big, at launch already, and there's quite a lot of good bands up there. Like, there's more Rush, there's Judas Priest, there's more Police, there's Maroon 5, it's got something for everybody. My only quarrel with the DLC is I think $3 per song is a little steep. I think $2 would be a little more reasonable, because really, just to get a couple extra songs to learn, to think that you're going to go over $10 just for a couple more songs that might get you maybe 30 minutes to an hour more, depending on how hard you want to learn the song, it's a little steep of a price to pay. Now, actually learning a song, it works both ways. If you're new to it, it does exactly what it needs to. It starts you off very easy, only giving you key parts of the melody, and as you gradually get better and better, if you're playing the song or the parts of the song that you're on to perfection, it will start to add more pieces and more pieces. And at the end of every time you play it, it will tell you how much of the song it's had you learn and you've been able to play correctly. Obviously, to get 100%, you have to play the song perfect and with all the notes unlocked and everything else. The one problem that I find for advanced players at the very least is that it's very slow to progress to the point where you be learning more of the difficult parts of the song. I find with a song like, say, Spirit of the Radio by Rush, it takes at least about 3 to 5 playthroughs until you really start getting into some more difficult stuff. And I have a feeling that it's even double that if you really want to get the full solos out there, to really get the full piece of the song out there. So for someone like me who's able to play the first couple of run-throughs with really no difficulty at all, it becomes a bit of a grind to get to the level that you want. You can choose score attack to play the entire song at whatever level you want, but at the same time, it's also very, very specific that you have to be able to play it perfectly, and if you don't, you get 3 strikes, and then you have to start the song all over again, and you fail. It gets to the point that it's kind of frustrating that you either play it to learn it or you try to play it perfectly, and there's not really a very good balance to it. Now, along for the new players, there are plenty of other options other than just learning songs that you can get into and be able to learn anything that you want, including scales, chords, techniques, whatever you could. And lessons do a very interesting job of that. I mean, it offers such a diverse list, gradually getting up more levels and levels, starting with really basic chords, for example, and then getting up to bar chords, power chords, and whatever you want. And it also gives you stuff like techniques like pull-offs and hammer-ons and sliding up and down the fretboard. But they don't really get into the very advanced stuff like sweep picking and stuff that could really get you into the heavy hitting stuff. So it's a little disappointing again, but it does what it needs to do to get new players and new faces into it. The Guitarcade as well is a very interesting and unique way to learn other stuff like scales, chords, and even harmonics, for example. They are very kiddish, I think, is probably the best way to explain it. It's not exactly something for the advanced player to want to do. It's definitely geared toward kids, and I'm assuming that was the intent to begin with. It's not like it's useless to most players, but for some, they might find it to be more work than anything else. I find that some of the games I was playing, I was more having, the struggle of just playing it fast enough for what the game wanted, rather than really learning anything. And so obviously, it's geared to kids, I think, and those people will get a lot more out of it. Newer players will definitely find more to like about the Guitarcade, but it's still pretty cool to have the idea of, by doing scales, you can play it almost like a brawler, like a 2D brawler, which is a very interesting idea, and I think more stuff like that is incredible. I hope they keep doing that. Now, the big part for me that I was interested in was the session mode, where you can pretty much just jam at whatever options you want. You can customize the band that you want to use, customize the scale that it uses, whether, that includes the root note, and whether it's a pentatonic, a Lydian, Aeolian, Phrygian scale. They give you such a massive amount of options to go with, and you can even customize the beats per minute, just the overall tempo of the song, and even customize the sounding, whether it's in a studio, maybe in a hall, maybe at an arena, so that way you can get whatever design you want. And it even goes as far as giving you the tone designer, so you can actually pick the amplifiers and all the other the heads and the cabinets that you would be interested in using. Now, the only problem with that is I think a lot of the products are just Rocksmith branded, which isn't real. They do have some Marshall and Orange stuff. I think it would have been cooler if they either dumbed down the list of Rocksmith stuff, because there's a massive list of those and a very small list of legit products. But either way, just the fact that you could actually test out what you would sound like with a Marshall stack is just awesome. The session mode itself is probably where most of my time is going to be spent in when I just don't want to, learn another song like, I just got Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody and learning that solo for it. The session mode really just lets you just sit there and you for half an hour, if you really want to, just mess around with a scale and just find your own niche, find your own, technique to it, and just the kind of sound that you want to. Now, the only things that I'm a little iffy by is, I think, because if you pick certain tempos or certain ways that it pushes the song, it will give you key changes, or at least change what notes would probably fit better with the current backtrack. I think there should be a way to let you know that it's incoming, instead of you just having to guess when it's there and keeping an eye on the screen, because sometimes you'll want to look down at your guitar, see what you're doing, and you might miss something. So all of a sudden it might not sound quite perfect, but it still gives you enough of an area where if you are hitting the notes on the scale, it still sounds decent, just some sound better, and the root notes do sound better in certain cases. The other thing that I wish they could do is maybe customizing the backtracks so you could have a certain set so that you know when they're coming, and you can kind of build a song that way, because I think that would be really cool, being able to record a song using that tool. But because the backing track is sometimes very unpredictable, you can't quite get what you're looking for out of it. So I think that's something they could also work on as well. Now, in full, this is probably the best guitar game I've seen since Guitar Hero first started up, and I think this will offer something to new players and to advanced players, something that they can work on and something that they can enjoy. I've been playing for 13 years, and the fact that I get to learn songs that I never would have thought I'd be able to try to, and be able to gradually work my way up to a level that I'm okay with, is just an awesome idea, and I'm so glad that they decided to put it in second one of these games, because I was worried that maybe, because I don't know how the first game did, so my worry was that it was going to maybe get shelved off, and we might not see stuff like that again, but thankfully, we get to see a new version this year, and it is so much better. The set list is so much better, and it really is so friendly to new players that I think this is the best way to be learning guitar right now. So for all that it has, you know, a few things that obviously can be worked on. This is an 8 out of 10 game without fail. And if you have any intention of learning guitar or just getting better at it, you need to look at this. And for the price that you can pay compared to the price you would pay for actual lessons, this is definitely a much better bang for your buck. So thanks guys for watching, like the video, and I will see you guys next time.